This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not substitute for professional medical advice. Please seek a medical professional or healthcare provider if you're seeking any medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Thanks, everyone. Are we on?
Yeah. And then I'm just doing like...
Or a little intro.
Yeah.
I haven't heard our jingle in a while.
Because you need to like... You need to watch our YouTube videos.
I don't watch.
I really have the ante. I can't talk. We know this. We know this about me. I've really upped the ante.
The ante? What is that?
It's like that word. There's a phrase to it. I may be saying it wrong, and people are right now being like, there she goes, 2 seconds into the video.
I don't know what that means.
But it's like, I really have stepped up my game. There you go.
Okay.
I've been putting little like snippets and little photos and like stuff like that to back up what we're saying or whatever.
Good.
So
her little skills have gotten...
She just doesn't like watching herself or hearing herself. That's a problem, guys.
I don't. I don't, never will.
I've had to get used to it because obviously like editing.
She does a lot of editing, yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, check it out. And that's perfect because for you guys that are just like listening through Spotify, Apple, whatever, all the things, check it out. Maybe you like it there too. Mm-hmm. And subscribe.
Yes.
I'm doing the typical podcast thing. Anyway,
yes. Anyways, welcome to our show. Yeah. My name is Evie.
I'm Julie.
And today's episode, we are talking about melanoma
And sunscreen. You know,
Yeah.
I decided we should pair that up because sunscreen is having like a bad moment right now, like
It
a bad
is.
rep.
Yeah, everything in social media, they're coming for you. Everything gets targeted on social media,
Oh my God.
which is so dumb.
It is. It's like, guys, like,
I feel like every dermatologist has like the biggest eye roll when a patient talks to them about SPF.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's gotta be so bad. There's people out there that they swear on their life, like on social media and TikTok and whatever, that it gives you cancer.
Yeah,
That
for
sunscreen is what gives you cancer. I'm like,
Yeah.
look, I'm not saying like, okay, there may be, because there have been recalls on the oxybenzene and all that stuff. I'm not
Which has been eliminated from a lot of formulas, by the way.
But there's also other alternative options that you could do, like mineral and sunscreen that pretty much was taken from the blood of a virgin if you want. You know,
Yeah.
you get what I mean? There are options out there if you're worried about chemicals that you don't understand or whatever. It works, dude.
It does.
It does. And then you see these people online like talking about, yeah, I don't wear sunscreen and I'm out in the sun all day and I'm like, you look crispy.
Crispy. Well, there's this person, an old friend of mine that unfortunately he's like into this whole entire thing on not wearing sunscreen.
Great.
And he came on and he's like, how do you think people did it in the past, like years ago?
That's her main thing.
They survived. And he's like, how did they survive? And I'm like, they didn't.
They did.
They did not. And he like also went on to say, it's like, you don't even need to wear sunglasses. And
That's
I'm
the
like,
other one, yes.
Yes, you do. Like, yes, you do.
That's exactly
And
the other
there's
one, yeah.
pictures of, really, we're talking about natives like years ago, and they have sunglasses on, very primitive sunglasses.
Right, exactly. They're like
but
made
it's
of wood and it's like a
interesting.
slit.
It's like a slit.
Yeah.
It's very interesting how they did that.
The natives that live in the Arctic.
Yes.
I forgot like what their actual proper name is, but natives that live up in the Arctic. You see, like, yes, I want to go down that route.
I don't want to say the wrong name.
Exactly. I don't want to say the wrong name, but we all know what I'm trying to say here. Anyway, and that's where I saw them too, because it's white and then the sun. So then they developed like this.
It's like a lot of reflection of light. So they
Exactly.
developed these very thin glasses, which is a very
Thin slit.
so that they can see,
Right.
but not have those rays. messing up their eyes.
Exactly. It's just like people are, back to the autism talk that we had, check out those episodes where we dove deep into that mentality of like, just because they didn't even know that it existed before doesn't mean that it wasn't there.
Yeah.
So back
and
then,
also, just because something didn't exist before doesn't mean that it was good either. Like,
Right.
medicine has come a long way.
Right.
We didn't have antibiotics back then. We do now. So then when people are like, well, how did they survive back then? And I'm like, they didn't. They did not survive back then.
They probably had, like in this case that we're talking about, melanoma, and they may had even had it metastasize, and then they just passed.
Yeah.
But they didn't know. They didn't know. They couldn't diagnose it back then or anything like that. So you can't say it didn't exist before. They just didn't know what it was.
Exactly.
You know, like those are the rabbit holes that I'm sure you encounter every day.
All the time. But yes, sunscreen is definitely having a big moment. You
So
know,
let's talk about that.
yes. And in clinic, you know,
Oh,
every time of the year has its own thing. So during the summers, I'm like counseling a lot on SPF use and reapplication, pool safety, blah, blah, blah. So it's every single topic. Well, I heard on the news that there's some cancer causing chemicals. And I'm just like, use the mineral. Use the mineral. I don't have time to, unfortunately, I don't have time to explain everything about chemical sunscreens.
Yeah.
But
and that's what I'm saying. If you're so scared about chemical sunscreens, then use a mineral version of it.
yes, but then you'll have the people saying that zinc doesn't have a good coverage for UVA, blah, 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 blah. Anyways. All right.
Wear a shirt, wear a hat, cover yourself entirely. I don't know what to tell you.
Don't roast yourself in the sun.
Exactly.
You know?
Limit your sun exposure then if you absolutely have to. You're still taking a massive risk like that, because even in the car, you could get, I've gotten sunspots from just being in the car.
Same. Yeah, I have really bad melasma. All my little sunspots that I have on my face is from the sun. And I'm very, very good with my sunscreen.
Oh, so am I. Ever since I got that back from 23andMe, like,
Yes.
I'm like,
yeah.
shite. Anyway,
All right.
let's get into it.
So let's talk about melanoma and sunscreen. So first, let's touch up on melanoma.
Yeah.
Melanoma is a type of skin cancer that starts in the melanocytes. So those are the cells that give your skin its color. When they go crazy, they go rogue, they form melanoma, which can spread quickly if not caught early. It's less common than other skin cancers like basal or squamous cell, but it's the one that kills us most often. So why is it serious? If it's caught early, melanoma is pretty much always curable. So that the 5-year survival rate is about 99%. But if it spreads to distant organs, aka it metastasizes, then that number really drops a lot. So it goes down to 30 to 35%. That's why it's really important to spot these things early, okay? So whenever you have a new mole, okay, we'll kind of go through all of these, but melanoma tends to be new, not ones that you have before. But when you have new growths or anything, it's really important to go get checked by a doctor. So what does it kind of look like? Melanoma often starts as a mole that looks weird. Usually in medicine, we kind of follow this rule, the ABCDE rule. It helps it just helps us spot out if this is like a red flag.
It's like a checklist type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So A is for asymmetry. One half doesn't look like the other side. B is about the border. It could be jagged or like really uneven. The color, if it has multiple colors, so it has like different shades of colors, then that's another red flag. The diameter, if it's larger than 6 millimeters, okay, so basically the size of a little pencil eraser on a pencil, then that's another red flag. And then also if it's evolving, okay, so if it's changing over time, it started off small and now it's really growing and texture's changing and you're seeing that ABCDE, okay, or ABCD. Bonus tips is that most melanomas, 70 to 80%, are going to appear on clear skin. Most melanomas are, the 70 to 80% of them are going to appear on clear skin. This is what I was saying, that it's not an already existing mole that turns into melanoma. Again, 70 to 80%, not all of them, right? Even if you don't have any moles, that doesn't mean that a new dark spot doesn't deserve a look. So who are the kind of people that get melanoma? Pretty much anyone can get melanoma, but the risk is higher if you have fair skin or freckles. Love her side eye. Also, if you burn really easily or you have blistering,
That's painful.
awful as well. Oof. If you have a lot of moles or if you have a family history of melanoma, those are all risk factors.
I'm like covered. My hand.
You have to do checks every year.
My hands even have moles.
Yes.
It's insane.
In the US, white individuals have much higher lifetime risk, about 1 in 38, than individuals that have black or darker skin. And that's going to be maybe 1 in 1,000 or less. But again, melanomas in people with richer skin tones that have a darker skin tone are often found later and in unusual spots, maybe under the nails or on the soles, palms, or even inside the mouth. Yes, melanoma can even be inside the mouth. Actually, Bob Marley died from a melanoma under his toenail. No, darker skin doesn't mean that you're completely protected or immune from it. So everyone needs to kind of pay attention. Where does it show up? In men, it's mostly on the back or on the chest. In women, it's often on the legs. But anyways, any new spot or something that looks like it's been changing a lot, you should get looked at. There's a lot of individuals that will go to a dermatologist every single year just to do a skin check.
I mean, it's smart.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, melanoma can appear anywhere, like I said before. So make sure you're checking your scalp, in between your toes, under the fingernails, under your feet. Make sure you're checking under. It's not just a sun thing either. Most melanomas are linked to some sort of UV exposure, but not all of them. Some pop up in places that you'll never that never sees any light. Like inside the eye, you can have ocular melanomas or mucous membranes, which is like inside your mouth or something like that. Genetics and other unknown factors still kind of play a role. All right, so Josie's going to talk to us a little bit about sunscreen 101.
Yeah. I'll touch up on the more controversial side of things. Break it down a little bit for you guys. So this is just the 101. Take it what it is. This is the actual information, guys. Whether you're for sunscreen or not, we're obviously for sunscreen. Sunscreen is your skin's invisible armor. It helps block or absorb UV rays before they can just mess up with your DNA, and then that will start creating problems. So there are two types of sunscreens, right? There's chemical sunscreens, and these are the ones with ingredients like avobenzone or oxybenzone, which you've probably heard and has unfortunately scared a lot of people from chemical sunscreens. What they do is that they absorb UV radiation and convert it into harmless heat. Think of them as like UV sponges. They soak up the rays before your skin does it, which that's what you're trying to prevent. They sink into your top skin layer and need about 20 to 30 minutes to actually fully activate, which is something that a lot of us, myself included, had for many, many years not done. I was like, okay, I'm in the beach, now I'm gonna apply it. When realistically, you should have done it before you even had that sun exposure. But so the next type is the mineral, these physical sunscreens. So they use zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, and these are actual minerals, right? That they sit on your skin and then they reflect UV rays like tiny little mirrors. That's pretty much how it works in a very, very layman sense. They work right away and are usually better for sensitive skin. They've come a long way from the very beginning of it, which was that really white, thick look. Now they mostly just rub on clear. And then you hear a lot of the times like broad spectrum sunscreen. So what is that, right? So this label means that the sunscreen protects against both types of UV rays. So UVB, which is the one that burns, and then UVA, which is the one that ages your skin, and then it has those long-term skin damaging effects. So then these both, though, can lead to skin cancer. So that's why you want that broad spectrum. You want to protect against these both types of UV rays. But unfortunately, not all sunscreens offer this. So then that's why you got to check for that label. And then what does SPF actually mean? Which is something that is like, I didn't know that until I researched this.
Really?
Yeah. I was
Sun protection factor? What? Okay.
I've just been trained like my whole life. It's just SPF.
Yeah.
You never.
I mean, I didn't learn that until I went to medical school.
I never stopped to like think, oh, what does that actually mean? It's just SPF.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what it stands for is exactly what she said: sun protection factor. So here's a quick math, like very quick, because I hate math, so I'm not going to bore you with it. I promise. So SPF 15, that means that it blocks about 93% of UVB. UVB. There we go. Can't say that more than once. Just one time alone. It's not going to happen. Anyway, so SPF 30 blocks about 97%. And then SPF 50 blocks about 98%. So you see like the percentages go up like little by little.
Yeah. It's pretty common to hear a dermatologist or another provider about talking about skin, that they just tell you at least minimum SPF 30. The reason why is, but SPF 30 to 50, there's like a 1% increase in like that, in that protection. But if you use an SPF 15 to a 30, that's a big difference in percentage.
Exactly.
So at least a minimum of SPF 30. After SPF 30, yes, it gets better, obviously, but it's you're not going to notice that big difference. So at least shoot for SPF 30.
Yeah, exactly. Because what she just said, SPF 15 to 30, it will jump from about 93 to 97.
Yeah.
That's a big jump. So SPF 30 is solid, like she had literally just said. Higher SPFs help, but it's not a massive leap. But SPF only works if you apply enough of it. Most people use too little, like a quarter of what they actually should be using. For your whole body, you need about a shot glass full. That's about an ounce to cover your whole body. Okay, so a lot more than many of us, myself included.
Yeah, and I see a big problem that I see is a lot of people on social media that they will say, I'm only going to use a little bit. A little bit goes a long way.
Not in this case.
This doesn't equate to that.
This
is not one of those times where less is more. So you need to have a big, a nice size amount. And yes, a lot of the times everyone will complain that you have a white cast, but usually if you give it a couple minutes, it will go away. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anyways, so and yes, you need to reapply. That's the other thing, about every 2 hours. Okay, which is something I am very not good at.
I'm very good at that. Yeah, but I have melasma.
Yeah, so you're
one
more
of the
on
most
it.
one of those irritative things is sun.
Yeah.
So I'm constant in my bag. You'll see I have my SPF in there. It's spray. It's super easy. It goes on nice and like clear. I just tap it in to not ruin my makeup.
Yeah.
And I have to use mineral because chemical also can exacerbate melasma.
So apply every 2 hours, and especially if you're swimming or you're sweating. Then you have the different types, which are water resistant or waterproof. And this is not the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people think that it's the same. It's not. Okay.
Yeah.
So no sunscreen is actually waterproof. If the butter. Butter? What?
If the butter.
No, please don't use butter for sunscreen. Oh my God. Talk about frying.
Or Vaseline.
Which people used to use back then.
Yes, I know. And baby oil. I'm guilty. I am guilty. Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola? You hadn't heard of that?
No.
Oh my God. People used to use Coca-Cola because it would give you, like, of course, that the color of Coke would stain.
Like that stain. Yeah.
And then they said that they get the best tan. But talk about, Anyway, Miami in the 80s was wild. Anyway, so if the bottle says water resistant 40 or 80 minutes, that means your reapplication window during swimming or sweating is that. After that, you're unprotected unless you obviously reapply. Now, what about if it's cloudy or if it's cold?
I don't care.
You still need it.
I do not care if you're going to be indoors in a cave. Put it on.
Like we said, even driving.
I understand. Like I hear myself and I'm like, you're ridiculous. No. But the thing is that chances are is that you are going to get some sort of UV rays.
Yep.
And am I saying one day without sunscreen, that's it? You're like in the dumps for melanoma? No, that is not what I'm trying to say. However, I will say when you lose the habit of applying sunscreen, you tend to stop altogether.
Exactly. This is about creating that habit.
Exactly. It's like brushing your teeth. You have to put it on.
Yep. Exactly. Anyway, so exactly. Cold, cloudy, you still need it. You're going to get in and out of a building at some point. Even if not, you're probably somewhere that has windows. You need it. And we're going to be talking about windows too. That's something some people are like, no, because, I just have windows. We're getting there. Anyway, so
hold that thought.
Up to 80% of UV rays can't go through clouds. Okay, so just because it's cloudy, they're going to go through. You can absolutely get what they call a cloud burn. And UV reflects off of water, sand, snow, and even pavement. Trust me, we know. You could sense the difference. Like when you're walking on like a parking lot or something like that, it's like, like from the whole day just sizzling. Yeah, that's going to go into your freaking skin and burn you. Anyway, so don't skip it just because the sun isn't blasting like it's been lately in Miami. So don't. And then don't miss these spots, such as ears,
Yes.
Ears is a big one. Back of your neck.
Tune into one of our very first episodes when we were talking about bald, men that are bald. Do not forget to apply onto your head.
Yes.
That was such an old episode.
I know.
But I remember talking about
OG
that.
ones, yeah, I know.
Didn't you have like an experience about like a person that you went on a vacation and you felt so bad for him because his entire scalp was just completely burnt? Oh, maybe. I'm not sure.
He's the only bald one I know.
I feel like you told me a story that you went on a vacation, like you and Mario, and there was a person sitting next to you. It was like a complete stranger.
Oh, then probably.
And they were like just completely burnt, and you're like, oh, that man must be miserable.
Miserable. I don't understand how people do it. And
Yeah,
you
me
see it
neither.
here in Miami, like they look like lizards because of their like leathery skin at this point. And I'm like, that has to hurt. It has to hurt.
I work,
Well, yeah, you work at the beach.
yeah, I work
She
at the
works at the freaking beach. Okay.
and the tans that I see, it is incredible. I am astounded sometimes. I'm like, wow, how many years did it take you to get to that? You know?
But then a lot of them look like a lot older than what they
Oh, yeah,
even
yeah,
are.
yeah,
because
definitely.
it's
Because of that.
It turns into like leather at that
yeah,
point.
it does.
Anyway, so ears, back of your neck, the tops of your feet. That one I had to get used to because every
I do
time
everything.
Oh,
every
my-
single part, even under my bathing suit. I do it even under my bathing suit.
So scalp, that part of your hair. So like for me, I'm a millennial, so I do the side part. But you know, here,
Yeah.
spray it on because it's happened to me and it's painful and it's annoying because then after that you have like the
Elise.
and
starts
it's just
healing.
like all the freaking time. Please just spray it
And
on.
also, I see a lot of people doing this, that people are so desperate to get into the water because it's so hot, and then they apply it after they're wet.
That's not gonna work.
That's not working.
It's like oil and water. It's not gonna work.
I see them spraying and it's just trickling down their bodies, and I'm just like, not protected.
Nope.
Yeah.
And it's gonna look real weird.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
It frustrates me so much. Nora does that. She'll like hop into the pool, and I'm like, wait, here it is. Damn it.
Then you gotta dry
And I have
her
to
up.
dry her up and then put it on. Anyways.
So the scalp, like I said, your hair part, anything like that. If you're bald, the whole head. Under the straps or swimwear edges. That's a big one. I've seen a lot of like burns from there too. Move it around, people. Like, you know, do that thing. So basically, if it's not covered by fabric, it needs sunscreen. And then this is your pass the baton.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit on how UV rays damage the skin and why you should even care about it. So let's break down the why dermatologists go fully in panic mode about UV exposure.
Even if you're not
a
literally what I was gonna
I'm such my patients, the parents must be like, they come out of there like with their eyes like,
We need to
we need SPF right now. Yeah,
sun.
exactly. But it is really important. Sometimes I feel like if I'm not that exaggerative, they won't take me seriously.
Yeah, it's true though. It's true. Yeah, you gotta like scare.
No, you don't even know how I talk to them if they come in for an injury and I find out that they weren't wearing a helmet.
Okay, no. Our viewers are gonna love this. Okay.
No.
I'm coming in. I'm your patient. I'm your patient. Do it.
I have to be like in the mood. I have to see like the injury because I get so enraged. But I've had parents complain to me. I've had them.
I'm injured. I fell off my bike. I wasn't wearing a helmet.
No, the first thing I tell them, I'm like, "Were you wearing your helmet?" I know the answer already, and I'm like, mind you, it's their arm that's broken, nothing on their head. But I'm like, "Were you wearing your helmet?" No, right? And then when I look to the parent, I'm like, why weren't they wearing their helmet? And then the parents are staring blankly at me. Oh, we forgot it. And then I'm like, that's really irresponsible. That's like sitting a child in a car with no car seat. And then I've had parents roll their eyes at me before. Yes, and it's okay. You're going to roll your eyes because the last thing you need is, you already feel guilty about your kid getting hurt. And the last thing you need is some POS making you feel like shit. But I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no, it just depends on the situation. But I've literally torn people. I've ripped them a new one for not wearing helmets. Don't even get me started on e-bikes. I think that's another episode that we need
e-bikes,
to do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The e-bikes. I tell parents, I'm like, sell it. I don't even care if
Or
your
the
kid
scooters.
cries. Yeah, scooters, e-bikes. Get rid of them. Get rid of all of them.
The amount of times that I'm driving here in Miami, I'm driving.
They don't
and
respect
there's a
anything.
freaking scooter is just, I'm like, you're stopping traffic.
Yeah.
You're driving me insane. Somebody's going to bump into you out of nowhere. And I'm here like, I need to pass you because, it causes so much. I can't.
But
I'm
we
like,
should definitely do an episode on
you're in
that
a
because
car.
it is definitely something that people need to open their eyes about. But yes, wear your helmet. Now let's go back to wearing your SPF. All right. So it's not just about looking, not looking like a lobster, right, at the beach day. UV rays actually really mess with your skin on a cellular level and on a genetic level because it's messing up your DNA. So we're going to talk about UVA and UVB, which are the culprits when we talk about this damage. Sunlight contains UV, ultraviolet radiation. So there's two types that hit your skin. This is UVB, which causes the sunburns and directly damages your DNA, and UVA, which penetrates deeper and causes aging and indirectly damages DNA. UVC, which is not something that we talk about a lot, but UVC also exists, but it's kind of blocked by the ozone layer. So you don't really need to worry about it unless you live in a tanning bed, which we're going to talk about the tanning beds later.
And also the ozone layer is depleting.
I was going to say, I'm like, our ozone layer is paper thin, people. It's paper thin. So soon we're going to have to worry about UVC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's people that don't believe in climate change. So, I mean, there's that.
Yeah. So don't. Honestly, I'm sorry. I don't care if I get like backlash for this. People that don't believe in climate change you're dumb.
Yeah. No.
You're dumb or you're ignoring it on purpose.
Right. How?
Yeah.
It's so obvious.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways. Okay, so both UVA and UVB can cause mutations in your skin cells. If a mutation hits the wrong gene, then that is what can turn that gene and it can control cell growth. So cell growth means it's going to go wild, going to start growing, and that is what's going to lead to cancer. Okay, it's a lot of replication. Yeah. Now, let's bring it back to what I was just talking about before, tanning. That, if you are tanning, just know that you are damaging DNA.
On purpose.
On purpose. Everyone, let me hold your hand. I'm going to hold your hand when I tell you this. When you tan, you are damaging your DNA. Okay. So now that you've accepted that, let's talk about it. It's not a myth. A tan is not healthy. It's literally just our skin screaming because we're just frying it, right? So when UV damages your skin DNA, your melanocytes, which are those cells, that pigment cell that's supposed to protect you, releases more melanin as a defense mechanism. So yeah, you're tanning and you're looking cuter and darker, but your body's not saying the same thing. Your body's like, help me, okay?
Yeah. Oh, God.
So it's actually releasing more melanin as a defense mechanism saying, oh no, we're in the sun, we're roasting, we need to become darker to protect. So that's what gives you a tan. So it's a biological panic response, not a glowy, cute response, okay? Now, dermatologists and a lot of providers love to say there's no such thing as a safe tan. And they're kind of right. Every tan, or when I talk about tan, I mean an actual like light tan, okay? Not, like the self tans.
Exactly,
like the
yeah.
So every tan or a burn is every little bit deposits in your long-term skin damage savings, okay? So it's long-term, it's gonna be bad for you, okay? Now, sunburns and melanoma risk. If you've ever had a blister from a sunburn, studies have shown that just 5 of those types of sunburns in your lifetime can actually double your risk of melanoma.
Damn.
It's not just sun exposure,
5
it's
is
the
very little.
intensity. Yeah.
That's very little.
5 is very little.
I have for sure had 5 pretty bad sunburn.
Blistering? I've only had that once.
No, like from
Really bad. Those are so painful.
But
I haven't had a burn in a really long time because I'm really good about my sunscreen. But man,
I've had like a blistering burn from like the oven or whatever.
Ooh.
but not from like sun exposure.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, it's what they're saying. It's not just like how many times. It's like the intensity that you've gotten.
Right.
So the sudden high dose of a UV blast, you went out to the for a weekend at the beach and you didn't use any sunscreen.
Yeah.
That's the risky thing. Now let's talk about UV and the genes. So about half of melanomas involve a mutation in a gene called BRAF. It's a gene that normally controls how skin cells grow. UV radiation can damage that gene, causing it to tell the cells to multiply when they really shouldn't. And that's one of the clearest links that we have between sunlight and cancer at the DNA level. Scientists have even found specific UV like signatures in like melanoma. It's like UV kind of leaving a fingerprint on your genome. Okay.
That was me.
It's so scary.
I know.
It's like a scary movie to me.
I know.
It's a horror movie. Yeah.
I got that.
Exactly.
What?
So I really want to raise awareness for our population that has darker skin tones because I see it in my clinic. I have a lot of families with darker, richer skin tones.
It's such a myth.
That tell me that they don't wear SPF because they don't need to. And that is not true. So I'm trying to raise awareness because everyone deserves to be protected, especially for this population, for everyone. But I really want to get rid of that myth that darker skin tones do not need any SPF protection. Yeah. Melanin does provide, obviously, it's a built-in defense, just like we talked about. You start getting raised, your body starts putting out more melanin for protection, right? So darker skin tones have a natural protection. It's roughly equivalent anywhere from like, you can compare it to like an SPF 4 to 13. Okay.
So practically nothing in today's world.
Yes. So depending on, and that's depending on the shade, right?
Right.
But it's not a full coverage. And also UVA still penetrates, right? So we're not just talking about UVB, we're talking about UVA as well. Skin cancer can still develop in areas of people that kind of forget to check. Again, bottom of the feet, your nails, in between your toes, all of that. So yes, people with more melanin are at lower risk, but it's not a zero risk.
All right. So next up, remember that I was talking about the windows? The glass trap, which is pretty much your car, because cars are pretty much a glass trap at this point.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. So you think you're safe behind that window? Just a little bit. But it's like very little. Okay.
Yeah.
So glass blocks UVB. All right. Okay, fine. I'll give you that. So you don't like instantly like burn like when you go to the beach, the pool, whatever.
But you can still burn.
You can. If you're under, if
You're there,
give it some
stationary,
time.
give it some time and you'll burn.
Yeah.
But yes, you have some sort of
minimal protection against
obstacle. Yeah.
UVB in particular. But anyway, but it doesn't block UVA, which is the aging one, which is why a lot of people in social media these days and whatever, they're very gung-ho on the sunscreen for anti-aging and all that stuff, because you're gonna get it. That's why people who drive a lot often have like sunspots and wrinkles on, especially on that window side. For us here in the US that we drive on our steering wheels are on the left side of the vehicle. It's typically like our left side, which
And
is
our
probably
hands.
big time.
Like
and
the
then our hands,
sunspots.
like, I mean, they're just getting hit. Like,
Have
they're-
I fully considered wearing gloves? Yes. Yes, I have. I promise I have. I have them in my Amazon cart. I'm about to be that person that wears gloves. And don't even get me started because I use the light to do my nails. I put sunblock on my hands before I do my nails.
Yeah.
And I am thinking about wearing the gloves. Said it. I'm ridiculous. But okay.
Because she doesn't, how do you call it?
Luminary.
Exactly. Of which you need to cure them under
The light. Yeah, the UV light. Yep. No, it's literally like every like 3 to 4 weeks, it's like roast the fingers.
No, I just I got press-ons. I'm not committed to. She has them on for a while. I change mine out every week. So yeah,
She does it so fast. It takes me like 5 hours to do my own nails. I can't do that. I don't have time.
It's practice. Now I'm down to like an hour and a half. At first, it took me a while. It would take me like a whole night's worth. But anyway, so I skip the UV lamp because of that. But anyway, you should think about that. If you do the UV lamp thing, think about that too. Like she was just talking about, something I didn't mention here, but now I am. Anyway, that's why people who drive a lot often have the sunspots on that side of the face, or even on your arms, on your hands, all that stuff. Sitting in a car by a sunny window, you're still getting zapped.
Yeah.
Quietly, silently, but you are.
Silent killer.
It really is. Eyes, immunity, and other UV effects, because it does affect your eyes, like we had said in the very beginning of this episode. Glasses are a thing, and sunglasses are for a reason. UV doesn't just hit the skin, it can cause cataracts and even other eye problems. Wear those UV blocking sunglasses and make sure that they are UV blocking. Because there are sometimes ones that are just tinted and they're not blocking anything important. They're just putting a little tint on you. So it weakens your skin's local immune response also, just to add to the badness of it all, which is why cold sores sometimes pop up after sun exposure. I didn't know that until I started looking this up.
It is a trigger, yeah.
I'm like, it's so interesting, but I mean, it makes sense. And over time, it contributes to photoaging, the leathery texture that I kept on talking about that we see a lot down here in South Beach, fine lines and discoloration that sunscreen wearers tend to avoid. And I'm going to go ahead and jump a little bit on the history now that we had covered what melanoma is and what sunscreen is. So let's talk about it. We've known that the sun can wreck skin for a long time, actually. But how we've responded over the centuries has been different. That's where it gets just a little odd. Some ancient hacks. Cue in the Egyptians.
Yeah, I knew it.
Now it's just like a joke. Now it's just like, now
she,
I need to like...
purposely includes Egyptian history and everything.
Tune into all of our other episodes.
All of our other episodes. You'll hear about the Egyptians.
I'm thinking of doing just one episode on the
like
Egyptians.
Egyptian medical, like just
I can.
Egyptian medicine. You can.
I
Let us know if you guys
can.
want that. Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway, they used rice bran and jasmine oil, and surprisingly, rice bran contains UV blocking chemical compound. You see what I mean?
I know. Like, how did they know that?
How? Like, how am I not going to include
But
that?
they were pretty advanced. Like, Egyptians were known to be very advanced in like medicine.
They knew how to do freaking cesareans.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, how am I not going to include that? That's what? Anyway, not bad for 4,000 years ago.
Yeah.
That's insane. So, anyways, going to the Greeks, they used olive oil, which gave some protection, but modern tests say like around 7-ish in SPF. Anyway, so meanwhile, some Native American tribes used mud and clay, and that's physical blockers, right? Minus the white pasty ghost face of like early sunscreens that we had. Then in Japan, white skin was a status, right? So they used rice powders and face coverings to avoid tanning, which I kind of still see in like some Asian cultures that like they have the umbrellas, they have the gloves, everything. Even in the beach, I went to Legoland and I'm like, man, I am admiring you, woman, because she was head to toe covered. Huge hat. The material, that's swimming material, but like pants and shoes and everything. I'm like, man, that's cool. I'm just like, that's cool, you know? Like, damn, like she looked like a ninja. Like she was like a badass. Anyway, in Europe, aristocrats.
I love that. I love that movie.
I love the white one. What's her name again?
Oh my God.
With the pink bow.
Yes.
Very, very troubling movie now to see it as an adult, but you know, there's a lot of questionable things on it, but it's so cute.
What was her name?
Oh my God, I know.
Anyway,
so aristocrats once wore black velvet masks with no eye holes just to block sun. Fashion
was not there.
But you know, they tried. Anyway, so how a yacht tan changed everything, right? So in the 1920s, Coco Chanel, accidentally got sunburned. Oh no, on a yacht. Oh no. Yeah. Of course, it had to be Coco Chanel on a yacht. Came back tanned and made it fashionable because of course it's Coco Chanel. She did no wrong back then, although she was a very questionable person, but yeah. Anyway, so suddenly being pale meant that you weren't wealthy enough to lounge. So tanning became glam. And by the 1950s, people were oiling up to get darker, not knowing what was brewing in their melanocytes, as we had already talked about. Then enter France, the first real sunscreen. In 1938, a Swiss chemist named Franz Greyter. I'm going to say Greyter, okay? Hopefully that's okay. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, got scorched while hiking the Alps. God, that must have been beautiful, though. He created Gletscher creme, which became the brand Piz Buin. I'll put it here for you too. Anyway, he's also the guy who came up with SPF ratings in the 60s. So shout out to him for making all of that wonderful math. And then meanwhile in the US during World War II, an airman pharmacist badass, named Ben Green mixed petroleum jelly with cocoa butter. The Southern spirit came into me at that moment, I guess. Cocoa butter, and called it copper tone. It originally offered SPF 2-ish, but hey, better than baby oil.
I always think copper tone, the little girl with a butt.
Oh yeah,
and
for
the
sure.
dog.
That's classic, for sure. And then the sunscreen boom. By the 1970s, the FDA regulated sunscreens. SPF labels became standard and water-resistant formulas started rolling in. In the 80s and 90s, ingredients like avobenzene and zinc oxide gave us better UVA protection, and zinc started showing up in formulations that didn't make you look like a mime. So more recently, mineral sunscreens and zinc or titanium became popular for being safe, non-absorbing, and reef-friendly. Yes. Coral reefs care and they matter, which is why places like in Hawaii, they banned certain chemical filters like oxybenzone.
Yeah.
Which I'm totally for because coral reefs, I mean, I have a, oh shit, I forgot to, that's going to come up. If you're hearing like some water trickling in the background of this whole episode, I'm sorry, I just realized that now. I have a fish. So look at my Instagram and you're going to see my journey with my new beta fish, Chili. Anyway, back to this episode. So melanoma through the ages. Melanoma, because that was just the history on sunscreen, right? So let me give you a quick one on melanoma. Through the ages, it's not new.
Now I can't stop hearing the water. I like literally had no
Let me just turn it off right now.
Of the water, but now it's something I cannot stop hearing.
Anyway, so Hippocrates, we're back to him. He's another one that makes a lot of our
appearances.
episodes.
Yes.
Yeah, may have described it. One of the first recorded surgeries for it happened in 1787 when a London surgeon cut out a dark tumor and saved the sample, which scientists later confirmed as melanoma nearly 200 years later.
It's crazy.
That is insane. That's so cool. Medical history is really freaking cool. Anyway, we didn't start connecting sun exposure to melanoma until 1956, when an Aussie doctor noticed high melanoma rates in fair-skinned people living in Queensland,
yeah.
Anyway, one of the sunniest spots on Earth. Go figure it out.
That's where I was going to go, remember?
I know. Guys, if you haven't heard our previous episodes, we've mentioned it here or there. This girl wanted to go to medical school in Australia.
I was very close to doing it too.
She had the pamphlets. She went to the meetings. She did the whole thing. Like she really...
I was actually going to go to Spain to like university, like before I even started. The only reason I didn't go to Spain was because they speak Catalan. And
which is not the same as our Spanish.
And officially they say that it's Spanish because the official language is Spanish. But when you go, like they can't really confirm if they speak Spanish or Catalan. That's the only reason I did not leave. Can you imagine we would have never met? I know.
No, we would have. I knew you in FIU.
That's what I'm saying. I was not for medical school. I was going to go like when I graduated. Yeah, when I graduated high school, I was going to leave.
And I thought you were talking about med school.
I fully called and everything and got applications.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't have met.
I know.
This wouldn't have existed.
I know.
Oh my God. Different timeline.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, she was going to go to Australia, which I can't even imagine. You went to Jersey and that was hard because, homesickness and everything. Imagine you would have gone to Australia.
A baby. Yeah, I know.
I'm getting a kink in my neck just thinking about that. Thinking about that flight.
Yeah, I know. That flight is terrible.
Anyways. So since then, research has confirmed UV exposure is the #1 preventable risk factor for melanoma. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
That was it.
All right.
Passing the baton.
Yes. All right. Let's talk a little bit about sunscreen and what it actually does for you. We've talked a lot already about the benefits of sunscreen. So now here's what it actually does. Okay. Besides leaving white streaks on your face.
Exactly. Okay. And not talking about the chemistry behind it or anything like
that.
This is literally why you
what it does. Yeah. Like if it's like a commercial. Right. One.
Not sponsored.
Yeah. Not sponsored. Preventing skin cancer. Okay. This is the biggest one. Daily use of SPF 15 or more has been shown to cut your risk of melanoma in half. That's not a guess. That's hard data from really large studies. It also reduces the risk of squamous cell carcinoma by around 40%. Yes, wearing sunscreen is equivalent of giving your skin a seatbelt. You don't wait for it to crash and then when you use it, you have to do it before the damage is done. It stops the burn. Burns aren't just uncomfortable, they're real biological traumas to your skin cells. Blistering burns in childhood and adolescence can drastically raise your risk of melanoma in the future. So keep your kids slathered in SPF and don't treat the sunburns like a rite of passage. Slowing down aging is another one. So if you're spending a lot of money on anti-aging creams but skipping out on sunscreen, you're wasting your time. If there is anything I feel as anyone should have in their skincare regimen, and for anti-aging, is sunscreen.
Oh yeah.
You don't need any expensive things. You need your sunscreen. UV rays will break down that collagen, which causes wrinkles, discoloration, and makes your skin look like it's dry cleaned in the sun. One study showed that daily sunscreen users had 24% less skin aging over the next couple of years to follow. Sunscreen is the cheapest anti-aging product that actually has science to back it up. You also need to protect your eyes, lips, and scalps. Like we've mentioned previously in the episode already, sun damage is not just about like your skin, but it can also lead to cataracts in your eyes. You can damage your lips. Yes, you can have lip cancer. That is a thing. You can also burn your scalp if you're rocking a part of that hair or you have thinning hair. Use lip balms with SPF, wear your hats. For those of you that love your hairline, don't skip your scalp. You can also have peace of mind. There's something really nice, okay, about being able to enjoy the sun without constantly worrying that you're roasting your skin and your DNA.
Yeah.
So sunscreen won't make you invincible, but it does give you a solid protection and a defense so that you could be outdoors and actually enjoy it without guilt or regret. I'm going to kind of just briefly talk about melanoma treatment and breakthroughs. There's a lot of information for melanoma. So here's just a lot, not a lot. Here's just a couple of the breakthroughs. Right. So the good news is that if it's caught early, melanoma is actually one of the most curable cancers out there. The bad news is that if it spreads, basically if you don't catch it on time, it can be one of the deadliest. So it can go from 0 to 100 real quick. But medicine has flipped the script in the last decade because of SPF. Step one is cut it out, literally. For an early stage melanoma, you would need to do a surgical removal. It's called a moles procedure. Doctors cut out the tumor with some normal skin around it called the safety margin. If it hasn't spread, you're probably done. Like you don't need anything else. If it's metastasized or if it's moved to nearby lymph nodes, then those might get removed too, right? Because if it's in there, you want that out. So early stages, stage 1 or 2, survival rates are sky high, nearly 99%. When it spreads, what used to happen? Once melanoma reached distant organs, stage 3 or stage 4, survival rates used to drop really hard. Chemo didn't work as well. Median survival used to be 6 to 9 months, which is nothing.
Horrible.
That was pretty much the reality until about 2010. Then science pulled off a full-on comeback story. Immunotherapy, letting your immune system off the leash with melanoma, was the first cancer to benefit big time from a new class of drugs called checkpoint inhibitors. These drugs help your immune system recognize and attack the cancer, okay? So ipilimumab was the first to work, which was in 2011.
So glad you were reading that.
Then came Keytruda and then Opdivo in 2014. It did boost the survival and some patients stayed cancer-free for about 5 to 10 years. Doctors are now saying that the word cure for some advanced melanoma patients, something that they never used to say in the past. These meds aren't side effect free though. They can cause some inflammation in organs. Every medication has its risks, but they've completely changed the game when it comes to melanoma treatment. You can also have targeted therapy, so hitting that BRAF mutation that we were talking about before. So about half of melanomas have that BRAF mutation. This means that they grow in a way that scientists target directly with pills that are called BRAF inhibitors. So this is going to be, for example, the vemurafenib and the dabrafenib. That's going to shrink the tumors real fast.
I'm so happy you're reading this section. And like the more words you say, the more I'm like, ooh. Wow, I dodged a massive bullet
like,
right there.
That feels like when you were like in class as like a child.
Yeah.
And they go around the room reading paragraphs and you're like already counting down the paragraphs to start practicing.
100%. I'm here like,
that was me. I couldn't read for the life of me. So the side effects though often fades and the cancer kind of just adapts. So now they're combining the MEK inhibitors to kind of slow down the resistance, which is just another form of medication. Okay. So the combos are really powerful, especially for patients who really need something that are fast acting. But what is the long-term survival? Immunotherapy still is the leading way to increase that long-term survival. There's also cancer vaccines now. So the mRNA revolution is kind of come about now. In 2022, researchers tested the messenger RNA melanoma vaccine. Yes, it's the COVID vaccines. Now they personalize the vaccine to each patient's tumor and pair it with immunotherapy. Again, you want that combination to have the fullest effects.
That's really cool technology.
It is really cool. And then it's targeted therapy, basically.
Right.
So the result is 44% fewer recurrences in the vaccine group compared to the immunotherapy alone.
That's incredible. 44% is high in medicine.
That's a high. Yeah, you definitely want to go that way. Okay, so now there's a larger trial underway, but if it holds up, this could become the standard of treatment. It's not to prevent melanoma, but to stop it from coming back after surgery, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Other tools and tweaks is radiation. It's useful for pain relief for small, stubborn tumors. You can also have something called TVEC, oncolytic virus therapy.
So cool.
Yes, so it's basically...
I don't want people on this.
Yeah, and I think we should, because there's a lot of people that are really confused on what this is.
Let me write that down.
You use a virus, but this is like, in this example, it's a herpes virus. We are not injecting herpes into you.
Mm-hmm.
We are using the herpes virus.
It's a car.
Exactly, it's a car, like a transporter, and it's going to be injected into tumors to spark the immune attacks. Again, we're not injecting people with herpes, okay? We are using the virus itself as a shuttle for these treatments. Now, cell therapies, it's still experimental, but involving growing your own tumor-fighting T cells in the lab. Right now, doctors are testing combos of therapies to push the survival rates even higher. Like, props to all these scientists that are working onto this, because these people are brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit of how far we've actually come. So in 2011, if you had stage 4 melanoma, you probably had less than a year to live.
Wow.
Okay. So today, median survival rate can actually be 5 to 6 years or more, and many patients live way longer than that. So in a study in 2023, which was very recent, showed half the patients with advanced melanoma were still alive 10 years later.
Incredible.
Imagine back then that they would tell you you have months, less than a year to live. And now there are people that after diagnosis, they're still alive 10 years later. That's not just a win for that person. It's a win for medicine. That is a medical glow up.
It is. Now, some common sunscreen and skin cancer myths that they need to freaking just go. They need to go away. So we're going to bust it. Okay. So myth number 1, a tan is healthy. Bull. It's bull. It's BS.
Bull.
No. Negative. False. It means that I'm protected. No, you're not. A tan is your skin's stress response to DNA damage. Okay, that's what it is. There's no such thing as a quote unquote safe UV tan. That golden glow, it's injury, not immunity. A base tan gives you the equivalent of SPF 3.
Yeah.
Which is basically like tapping a napkin to your chest and calling it armor. It's like, oh yeah, this is cool.
Do people still bed tan?
I think so, man.
How are those businesses staying alive? I can't even get some people to vaccinate, but people will still tan in beds? Oh.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense to me.
You can't. You can't.
Anyways.
So, myth number 2. I have dark skin. I don't need sunscreen. She already proved that wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong. While melanin offers some natural protection, it doesn't block all UV, and darker skinned individuals can still get melanoma. Often in places like palms, soles, and under the nails too. It's not just, it could be anywhere. Worse, it's usually diagnosed later, meaning worse outcomes, okay? Because anything that's diagnosed later probably has a worse outcome. And everyone needs sun protection, period. Doesn't matter, okay? Myth number 3. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. That was false. Anyway, so myth number 3, it's cloudy, so I'm fine. No. Up to 80% of UV rays penetrate through your cloud. not your cloud, the clouds.
Through your clouds.
This Celsius really hit me today. Like, really good. Anyway, you can get fried while skiing or walking near reflective surfaces like sand and pavement too. So the cold also doesn't cancel, okay, UV. That just, it doesn't, it's still happening. Anyway, so myth number 4. I applied sunscreen this morning. I'm covered for the rest of the day.
No, ma'am.
Negative. That's wishful thinking, okay? So sunscreen breaks down after a couple of hours, especially if you're sweating, swimming, or towel drying. So if you're outdoors, reapply every 2 hours. No excuses. Myth number 5, sunscreen blocks vitamin D. Okay, I'm not gonna do it now because technically yes, but realistically not enough to matter. So studies show that people who use sunscreen regularly still have normal vitamin D levels. Why? Because nobody applies sunscreen perfectly. And it only takes a few minutes of sun exposure per week to make all the vitamin D you need. All right? So don't worry about that. Okay?
And also, just to let everyone know, you should still be taking vitamin D supplements.
Yeah.
Especially here in Florida.
It's even easier like that.
Yeah. Just take 400 to 600 units daily. Cool. Okay.
Next, myth number 6. Sunscreen is full of toxic chemicals.
Hard roll. Hard eye roll.
This one's gone viral, as I said in the very beginning of this episode, because it's, you know, right now we're going through like this natural internet movement type of thing, but the data doesn't back it up.
There is the oxybenzone, the benzenes, and things like that it's not actual those. It's that when the sun hits it, it turns into a byproduct, and those byproducts is what causes the cellular damage. So there has been ingredients that have been removed, okay? But now it's like just even talking about not just zinc, titanium.
Oh, titanium.
God. It was like, I'm like, dioxide. I lost my train of thought.
The chemicals.
Oh, yes. So now, so people were pushing more towards mineral sunscreen, but there's always going to be this whole entire slash of something. Now they're saying, well, zinc doesn't cover everything, right? So that it doesn't have enough UVA coverage. Okay, yeah. So still wear your hat, wear your long sleeves. Don't roast yourself in the sun. And now titanium dioxide, there was something circulating around on the internet saying, well, it's poisonous, basically like cancer causing, and it's been eliminated from a lot of things in other countries. Yeah, well, when you actually look at that study, it's actually for people that use it as an ingredient in the food.
When you
ingest it. And there are multiple studies showing that titanium dioxide actually has like a very, very, very low absorbance. It's actually like too large to get into the skin. You don't absorb that.
Molecularly, it just
So again, just people, there's always going to be something like some error.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. But anyway, so for sure, certain chemicals can be detected in blood in trace amounts, but no harmful effects in humans have been found.
Yeah.
Okay, as she literally had just said. The real danger is UV, okay? The UV radiation, not the sunscreen. If you're still concerned, use, like we had literally just said, use the mineral versions of it, and they just sit on top of your skin and they're not absorbed.
Yeah.
Myth number 7, tanning beds. Well, we don't understand how
that even still exists. I don't even know how people make money from that anymore.
Especially after even like, what's his really Final Destination?
Oh, yeah. No.
Scarred this whole generation.
Yeah, I think it's scarred every millennial.
Like
no millennial does tanning beds because of that movie.
I see it in my head right now.
Yeah,
that
same.
scene. Anyway,
Same.
tanning beds are safer than the real sun. Oh my god. No. No. So they're actually worse. They hit you with concentrated amounts of UVA, which goes deeper into your skin. Using tanning beds before age 35 can increase melanoma risk to up to 75%.
I used to use them.
Really?
When I was like in high school.
Oof. No, I was always scared of them. I always just.
But I never went in the bed.
Oh, okay.
I went in like this one that's like a bed. But it's like it.
Yeah, it's like a.
It's not closed.
Like a C-shaped type of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen those.
It's not closed.
I've seen those. Yeah.
But I used it. It's terrible.
I've always just accepted the fact that I'm a ghost, and it is what it is.
How did I even pay for that? I'm like thinking to myself, who gave me the money to do that? I'm so confused right now.
Just from you working,
I wasn't.
Just used your work money.
Yeah. I started working when I was 15, so yeah, I guess.
So these beds, they've been labeled as a group 1 carcinogen on top of everything. You know, so right next
Feeling real great right now.
right next to tobacco and asbestos.
Feeling like a roach right now.
Asbestos. Not a roach. Why roach?
I feel so like, wow.
Hi, girl. We all do dumb stuff when we're young. We don't freaking know.
But still.
We didn't know any of this. Anyway, so myth number 8. If I wear sunscreen, I won't get enough sun for my mood. What?
Who says that?
What? No.
Who says that?
Oh, no. Mood boosting effects come from visible light.
yeah,
Okay, visible. You look at it. Okay, like people up north and stuff like that. They don't see the sun for months. They like have like plant lights and whatever, and then they look at it and they feel better. Not. Anyway, you're still gonna feel sunny and energized while wearing SPF. So please, you know the difference. You won't be peeling and get melanoma, unfortunately. So. Yeah, and then like some very like small minimal facts to close off the episode. Australia is the melanoma capital. I didn't know that.
I mean, it is very sunny there. I mean, I didn't know that as a fact, but I
didn't know that
probably.
either, but that's anyways. Australia has the highest melanoma rates in the world. That's why they launched the now famous SLIP, which means Slop Slap campaign. The choices were made, but whatever. Go for it, Australia. Slip on a shirt, slop on sunscreen, slap on a hat.
Sure.
I'm
sure it sounds way cooler with an Aussie accent.
I know, that's the thing. I'm saying it with my horrible American accent, Miami.
I'm not even gonna try. I was gonna try right now to say it with an Aussie. No, I don't. I'm very bad at accents. I'll probably sound Scottish or something. Yeah. So I'm not even gonna try.
You gotta sound angry, like slop on it.
That's German or Russian for me.
Well, yeah, that's too. Russian's aggressive.
Yeah.
It's like sharp and.
Yeah. The other day there was someone on TikTok that was rapping in Russian, and the comments section was so funny. Everyone was like, I feel unsafe right now. It was really funny. But it never fails. There's a nurse at the hospital that I work at. I get along with her very well, and she is Russian. And every time she said something to someone that also speaks Russian, another nurse, and then I thought that they were fighting. And then I was like, what was that about? And then me being chismosa, and she was like, oh, nothing. I was telling her to go give the mom the food tray. And then I was like, oh, it's completely harmless. Completely harmless. But I guess it's like people with Cubans that they're like, why are you guys screaming at each other? And we're like, we're not screaming at each other.
Yeah,
that's just how we talk to each other.
It's true. That's very true. Very, very true. But I love the Aussie accent. I mean, my series, Aussie accent. I have him with an Aussie accent, yeah. His name is Hunter. Anyway, so they later on added seek shade and slide on sunnies because Australians don't play around with the sun because obviously they're the capital of the world for melanoma. Anyway, so hippos, did you know that they make their own sunscreen?
Yes, we covered this on an ancient Egyptian
well, that makes sense.
Something about how basically their sweat has like a red pigment.
Exactly. Yeah, they secrete it and but it's not blood. No. Or sweat. It's just like this secretion and it looks red.
It's a pigment, yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So it acts like a natural UV blocker and even antibiotics. So scientists tested it and they found that it absorbs UV light and kills bacteria. Pretty freaking cool. Anyways, like she had said, lips get burned too. So wear that lip balm or whatever, make sure that it has SPF on it. And then we briefly mentioned about Bob Marley's melanoma, which is really, really famous about it because unfortunately he did die from it. It started under his toenail. It was an acral lentiginous. Yeah, melanoma. More common in people with darker skin and often diagnosed late. A reminder that melanoma doesn't just hit sun-exposed areas. The old sunscreen was questionable. In the 1950s, people were sold tanning oils labeled as sunscreen, some with SPF 2, so nothing. I think olive oil had a higher SPF at that point. So. Oh my God, imagine using motor oil and calling it protection.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. We just come a long way. Bald spots burn fast, people. Scalp burns are brutal. If you're rocking apart or thinning up the top, or you're just bald or shaved or whatever, please wear that SPF.
I remember when I was I was probably like 10 or maybe 9, and I went on a cruise with my family.
Oh boy.
And I got braids.
Oh, painful.
And my scalp burned Burned. Burned. And it hurt. It hurt real bad.
And mostly because your hair's like in the braids too. So it's like,
yeah. The braids look beautiful, but the scalp burns were awful.
Anyway, so yeah. Wear that sunscreen, guys.
Yep.
That was melanoma for you.
Yes.
It was a little unhinged. My Celsius really hit me good today. But yeah, hope you guys liked it.
Yes. And then especially now prepping for the summer, I hope everyone puts on their SPF.
Yeah, please. It's pretty brutal. I mean, we're recording this right now on July 26th here in Miami, and
It's very sunny.
Yeah, it's been a lot. Anyway, so check us out on all forms of social media. We're there as Funny Medicine Podcast, except on X, we are Funny Med Podcast. If you're not into socials, totally cool. We are funnymedicine305@gmail.com. Email us there. Hit subscribe if you're looking at us in YouTube. Loving those comments on YouTube and all that. They're actually like God nice.
Oh, that's nice.
That is nice. Thank you. Let us know what you think of this episode. Let us know if you've encountered any of these mishaps and if you remember the traumatizing, what is it again? Final Destination scene.
Seriously.
Lord. Anyway, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting